Jack, thanks a lot. Joined now by head coach Brian Kelly. Coach, I know a very busy but also very exciting day for you and your staff. With a couple of West Coast signings pending, you guys have a large body of your class, and now I'm curious how you evaluate the haul to this point.
Well, I think you're always trying to meet the needs that you have when players leave your program. I think we do that very well each and every year. I think every year that I've been here. Some years you get lucky and you hit an extra player at a particular position, and I think I've always felt like we're still going to take the best player that's available, but they still have to fit Notre Dame and what we're about and recognize the value of a great education here and that we're going to play for championships. So I think overall all these guys represent the why and why they're here, but they also cut across all the position groups. We had a change relative to philosophy and defense, so we also had to meet what Mike Elko was looking for defensively. Not a big change offensively, so philosophically with Chip now on board, we still are going to recruit the same kind of players on the offensive side of the ball, but I think defensively you see a little bit of a shift there late in recruiting in terms of the kid we wanted.
And to your point, you did get a young man in Jordan Genmarthies who changed his mind and decided to come to Notre Dame very recently. Does that speak to the scheme change on that side of the ball? Was that a big reason?
Yeah, I think that helped. I think there were relationships built there as well with Mike Elko and Clark Lee that had existed prior to them coming here to Notre Dame. But this decision that Jordan made and his family was on their visit to Notre Dame. Make no mistake about it. And I think everybody was part of that. Our support staff, our hosts, our players, our recruiting office did a great job. So I think in that instance right there, he certainly fits the scheme, and certainly that was part of it. But I think everything that happened that weekend certainly helped him make his decision.
Putting together a signing class is challenging enough. You had to do so while you had some parts of your staff in transition. How did that magnify the challenge for you this time around?
Well, it happened in a period where we had a dead period. So, that dead period allowed us to get to work immediately on putting together the staff that I was looking for. And then, really work hard with our human resources office to get people cleared so we could get them on the road. And it happened at different stages. We were able to get Mike Elko on first. Then we would get Chip Long on, then Clark, and then, Dell was able to get on, Dell Alexander. So it happened at different stages, but we were able to get that together as well as get our strength staff together because they had to be ready to go when our players got back here. So we were really juggling three things: getting our football staff together so it fit what I was looking for on the field, as well as get them on the road recruiting. Then certainly our strength and conditioning staff, and then finally we had to go out and finish off our recruiting class. So we had a lot going on here during the holidays. You and I were talking before we came on the air. There weren't many days that I wasn't in this office if I wasn't on the road.
Sure. As I look at this class as a whole, a few things jump out to me. One of them is that it seems like at the tight end position you guys hit a home run.
I would consider it a home run based upon what I've seen already from Brock Wright, who's a mid-year enrollee here. He looks the part. He has shown incredible work volume for a high school player to come in and compete already with the guys that are here. He's already going to add to a very deep position with Alizé Jones now back with us, Nick Wisher, Durham Smythe. You add him and Cole Kmet. I don't know that there's a better tandem in college football coming in with these two kids in Cole Kmet and Brock Wright.
Kids love to play right away. Ideally, freshmen don't have to play, but sometimes they need to. Sometimes they're good enough to. As you look at this group, are there some kids that stand out to you as guys who at least physically are ready to come in and play, or at least push for playing time?
Yeah, I think, Darnell Ewell, a defensive lineman for us, I think has the physical capabilities. He's over 310 pounds, physically fit. He swims for a swim team. He's got a great motor, great strength, 400-pound bench. So here's a physical player that if he makes the transition in terms of college and all the things that go along with time management, he's a guy that physically can come in and play right away. Usually you look to the guys that are in the skill position because they maybe don't have to be quite as physical. C.J. Holmes jumps out at me as a guy that, could play wide receiver, could play at the running back position. We're looking for that slash player, the Theo Riddick, if you will, or the C.J. Procise, and he may fit that bill.
You also brought in some speed. I know Jafar Armstrong's a 3-time state track champion.
Yes, and he has that kind of speed that we were looking for on the outside that can take the top off that coverage. You know, we really were blessed with a Will Fuller who could fly by anybody, and Jafar's got similar speed, but he's got bigger size. He's a guy that's going to be over 210 pounds. Will certainly wasn't that big, but he also has that kind of speed, so we're really pleased that we were able to get him late in the recruiting process.
You also have 5 guys, I believe, enrolled early, so they're already making that college transition, getting the classwork in, but also working out in the weight room with your staff. What sort of benefits have you seen in the past from the guys that show up early?
Just the ability, first of all, they have to have the maturity to graduate high school early, right? So we know they're mature, their time management is excellent. They've impressed everybody, and I don't mean in the football department. They've impressed our faculty, our support staff, everybody. So when we're talking about, Robert Hainsey from IMG who left Pittsburgh to go down there, you can see he's a mature kid. He left home to board there, and he carries himself very well, and the transition's been excellent. We mentioned Brock Wright. We mentioned, CJ. Those guys have done extremely well. Isaiah Robertson, who's from Neuqua Valley, an outstanding school system. He's from Chicago suburbs, but he's made a great transition in coming here. And Aaron Banks, from Northern California, not a school in El Torito that predicts a lot of Notre Dame players, but he has done exceedingly well in terms of his maturity and handling his day-to-day, and really proud of all 5 of those guys.
One thing that stands out about today is really no surprises, which usually is a good sign for a coaching staff. I'm curious how you feel like you guys were able to take the momentum from the very start of this recruiting cycle and carry it all the way through. No doubt you guys had your challenges, but not to lose a significant number of players and, in fact, actually bring some players in. Why were you able to do that, do you think?
Well, we had a core and a base that believed, and they knew why they were coming to Notre Dame, and that core base stayed together. There were some guys on the fringe that fell off, and you're always going to lose 1 or 2 anyway, but they weren't committed to the why. And that group, that core stayed together, and they talked virtually every single day. So we were able to build on that core, and late in the recruiting process, we were able to show why you come to Notre Dame. It's because of these kids that stuck together. And I think that really gave us the kind of boomerang effect that we needed. And once we were able to get one guy committed under those circumstances, it opened it up for 4 others. And I think that gave us the nice close that we were looking for.
How much do you think social media has changed that phenomena over the years where these kids can communicate instantaneously? It's as if they're teammates before they get here.
Right. Well, I think it's our society today where, a lot of people communicate that way. Sometimes good for the good, maybe, maybe not so good. But in this instance, they're able to build that bond because, look, they're all from different countries, parts of the country. And, you've got kids from California, you got them from Connecticut, Texas and Florida. And so they're all coming together to Notre Dame for the first time. And this is a way for them to really bond.
We'll have you teach a sociology class on this next semester.
We haven't gone all over the country. We started that way with Jordan. Again, Markeith, he was originally from Sweden. Mm-hmm. So we've kind of touched into that a little bit. And last year we had Chase Claypool from Canada. So we're getting to be international a little bit.
There you go. With so many new guys on your staff, I'm curious, did any of these guys bring any philosophies or styles when it comes to recruiting that you've noticed and appreciated that will maybe shape how you do things moving forward?
They're all people persons in the sense that they build relationships. I think you've had interviews with all of them, and they're easy to talk to. Right. I mean, they're genuine. And so I think in the recruiting process, we're just going to be who we are. We're going to make sure that we build good relationships. And I think it's going to translate well in the teaching. That's what I was looking for, is really good teachers. It's not what you know, it's what the players know. And I think we'll continue that same philosophy in the recruiting processes. The most important thing will be building relationships with these players that are on the road recruiting every day with coaches that they're going to really enjoy being with.
Talking about your football team now, how hungry are the guys that are here now to get back to work when that time comes?
I think there's a hunger. Again, I go back to why are they here? They're here to win championships and graduate. And I've made it clear that I've let this football team down last year. They feel like they've let themselves down too, and they want to atone for that. We all are in the same boat, and we're all committed. We're all single-minded in our focus in terms of what we want to do next year, and you can sense it. It's palatable in terms of the way our kids are focused, working out every single day, and it's been a really good start.
And speaking of next year, today wraps up the 2017 signing class, but next year is here immediately, is it not?
Well, the most contact that I've had today was with 18s, so a lot of phone calls with 2018s, trying to build the picture for next year that they'll be that next guy.
Is it hard to identify what your needs will be a year from now? I mean, to some sense, with your age, but...
Yeah, we're trying to touch the very best players at their position. So it may change a little bit, but you're always going to take that best guy at the position.
Right. Well, I appreciate your time, Coach. I know it's a busy day for you.
I appreciate it.
We'll talk to you again later. Again, that's head coach Brian Kelly, and our signing day coverage continues now with Jack Nolan. Jack?